The Victorian home. A cross between a miniature castle and a colourful dollhouse. And after more than a century, with so many left standing, they still have a way of stopping us dead in our tracks. Welcome to Schmancy, the place where we talk all things rich, exclusive, and fancy schmancy. Who doesn't love coming upon a gorgeous Victorian home? Moreover, who doesn't love coming across a whole collection of them? These ornate wooden and sometimes masonry structures were quite popular with the upper class during the mid to late 1800s. So much so, that in certain communities, residents and builders went all out, and built an entire slew of them. Well, today, we are taking you all across America in search of those communities that are known to have some of the most amazing cluster of Victorians. And though some of these locations may be a tad out of the way for you, we know there are some you will travel far and wide just to see. So without further delay, here are the 15 most Victorian neighborhoods in the United States. Number 1. The San Francisco Bay Area. Most people are already aware that San Francisco is the world capital for Victorians. So we might as well make it number 1, and just get it out of the way. With an estimated 40,000 Victorian homes built from the mid to late 1800s, this city pretty much dominates this sector. Yes, and you can find them everywhere. All throughout the city in so many different neighborhoods. Some famous spots to check out within the city of San Francisco are the Four Seasons houses, the Painted Ladies, otherwise known as Postcard Row, the Mrs. Doubtfire House, the Haas Lilienthal House, the Mission District, the Western Addition, and so much more. Now, not only is the city of San Francisco filled to the brim with Victorians, but the entire Bay Area is loaded with them. So don't just visit San Francisco if you're in the Bay Area. Check out the neighboring cities too, such as Petaluma, Alameda, Santa Rosa, San Jose, and even Oakland, for you brave ones out there. At this point, we're pretty sure you can see why the entire Bay Area is considered a Victorian heaven. Number 2. DITMAS Park in Brooklyn, New York. This 10-square block historic district is otherwise known as Victorian Flatbush. It consists of approximately 2,000 freestanding Victorian homes, of which no two are alike. Quite a contrast to Brooklyn's sea of brownstones. Considered one of the country's richest concentrations of Victorian architecture, it can easily give San Francisco a good run for its money. Yes, this is Brooklyn, New York. And you probably would have never guessed that such a place existed in the middle of New York City. Folks, ditch the car for this neighborhood, because you'll actually get a better experience by foot. Number 3. INMAN Park in Atlanta, Georgia. This was Atlanta's first planned suburb and it was developed solely for the city's upper-class residents. Hence the large Victorian mansions. The neighborhood eventually became less fashionable in the 50s and 60s, and much of it fell into decay and neglect. Today, after decades of restoration and renewal, this historic neighborhood on the east side of Atlanta is again regarded as a highly desirable part of town. You are welcome to attend the annual INMAN Park Festival, which attracts tens of thousands of visitors every spring. And during the festival, you can purchase tickets to tour many of the homes throughout the neighborhood. Number 4. Galveston Island, Texas. This skinny little island off the coast of Houston has weathered many storms over the last century. But in spite of that, they have managed to preserve much of the island's history. This is due to the dedication and perseverance of its residents. Today, Galveston has one of the largest concentrations of Victorian architecture in the country, that continue to attract thousands of tourists to the island each year. As Galveston is a resort town, there's lots to do here. It's a place where you might want to spend a day, a weekend, or perhaps even an entire week exploring the local streets and attractions. Some of the homes have even been converted into museums, and you are welcome to step inside for guided tours. Even better, every spring the Galveston Historical Foundation offers tours that include multiple homes. So if you're interested in attending, get your tickets fast before they sell out. Number 5. Angelino Heights in Los Angeles, California. This is one of LA's oldest neighborhoods. Situated between Chinatown and Echo Park, it is known for its steep hills and a wonderful concentration of historic homes including many Victorians. These are just some of the notable examples found throughout the neighborhood. There's plenty more where these came from. While you're still in LA, also check out Heritage Square, in the neighborhood of Montecito Heights, as it has an awesome collection of buildings that were moved from other parts of LA. The homes here are fully restored, furnished and quite authentic to their original state. Best of all, are the knowledgeable guides in period clothing who happily give you tours of the homes. Number 6. Brookline and Newton, Massachusetts. There's so much to see in these two pristine suburbs outside of Boston. They're both extremely wealthy suburbs, so expect the homes to be restored to perfection, and all to be very well maintained. Between the two towns, there are Victorians scattered everywhere. However, if you don't have the time to discover them all, then you can find some of the best clusters around the Crystal Lake Historic District, and the Pleasant Street Historic District, both in Newton. Number 7. Saratoga Springs, New York. Known for its horse racing, mineral springs, spas, great restaurants, shopping, casinos, and supreme lodging, Saratoga Springs is the perfect spot for those looking for a posh weekend getaway. But in addition to all of that, this exciting historical and cultural center comes with an amazing display of Victorian homes for you to feast your eyes on. The town also features a lively, walkable, and festivity-filled downtown where you can enjoy everything via leisurely stroll. This is definitely not the type of town you will want to just drive through. We hope you'll reserve an entire weekend for Saratoga Springs. Number 8. Port Townsend, Washington. Some call this remote town 2 hours north of Seattle, the Victorian paradise of the Pacific Northwest. Due to its unique location on the Puget Sound, the town planners of the mid-1800s expected Port Townsend to be the busiest port in the state. And so they packed over 300 Victorians within its tiny town limits. However, shortly after that, the railroads were invented, putting a complete kibosh on their plans. Nevertheless, the homes remained, and the folks here lovingly kept him up. You can visit Port Townsend today to enjoy its slew of fabulous homes, to attend its summer festivals, and for spectacular views of the Sound. Number 9. Humboldt County, California. Since there are quite a few towns here within a few miles of each other with an endless supply of Victorians, then we thought we'd lump them all into one county. First there's Eureka, with its quirky historic downtown area, its waterfront, and of course the world-famous Carson Mansion, the Pink Lady, among so many others. Then there's Ferndale, a vibrant place, with a quirky downtown, and multiple Victorian inns that you can stay for a weekend. In fact, the entire town resides on the National Register of Historic Places. Last but not least, you'll discover Arcata, a quaint town that's home to the Bear Stokes Mansion and the Lady Anne Victorian Inn, among several more. Number 10. Old Louisville, Kentucky. San Francisco claims to have the nation's largest collection of Victorian homes, but we think Old Louisville would like to have a word with them. Here we are, in the oldest neighborhood of Louisville, Kentucky. It's a place rich in drop-dead gorgeous Victorians in an array of styles from Italianate to Queen Anne, to Romanesque, and even Gothic. You won't find too many painted ladies here. In fact, most of these large mansions are either all brick or stone. Unlike other cities that also boast a plentiful selection of masonry Victorians, the homes in Old Louisville are each quite unique and most are freestanding. Consisting of about 48 city blocks and with nearly 1,400 structures, it is one of the largest neighborhoods of its kind in the country. There's lots of ground to cover, and lots to see here. So you may want to participate in one of the many walking tours offered by local organizations, or possibly even stay the weekend at one of the neighborhood's swanky bed and breakfasts. Number 11. Cape May, New Jersey. This tiny city at the southern tip of New Jersey is considered one of the country's oldest vacation resort destinations. Home to less than 3,500 residents, it welcomes more than 50,000 vacationers each year during the summer months. In addition to its pristine beaches, the entire city is considered a national landmark, as there are approximately 600 preserved Victorian buildings throughout, many in the gingerbread style, and many of which have been converted to quaint bed and breakfasts designed to transport you to a bygone era. Take a look at some of these houses. Quite amazing, aren't they? There's just something about exploring the streets of Cape May that will make you think you died and went to Candyland heaven. Number 12. Heritage Park, Victorian Village in San Diego, California. In order to escape the wrecking ball in 1971, 8 Victorian homes were moved from their original locations to a small village created for their preservation in Heritage County Park. Today, you can visit San Diego's Heritage Park Victorian Village to view and learn about these 8 lucky homes. However, do keep in mind that only 2 of the buildings have been restored on the inside, and are open for touring. The others, you'll just have to admire from the outside. While in San Diego, you might also want to drive across town to have a look at the Brit Scripps House and the Long Waterman House, and perhaps a few other grand painted ladies that may catch your eye in the Bankers Hill area. Number 13. Eureka Springs, Arkansas. This remarkable little town located in the Ozark Mountains attracts people from all over the country to experience its quaint downtown and its well-preserved Victorian homes. The town was built around natural springs that were once known to heal many ailments. And so anyone and everyone looking for a natural cure would flock to Eureka Springs in the late 1800s. What awaits you in the Eureka Springs Historic District are the beautifully painted homes, historic hotels, restaurants, unique shops, museums, art galleries, and of course its natural springs. Number 14. Mackinac Island, Michigan. If you ever wanted to know what it actually felt like to live in the Victorian era, this is probably as close as you're gonna get. This tiny little island resort sitting in Lake Huron at the tip of northern Michigan is only accessible by ferry. And no, you can't bring your car. It's bicycles and horse and buggy only. If you've been to Martha's Vineyard and loved it, then we're pretty sure you'll have a grand time here, as we guarantee lots of peace and solitude, in addition to plenty of historic architecture to feast your eyes on. And when it comes to Mackinac Island, it's not just about these exquisite Victorian homes. There are also arts and crafts cottages, Native American buildings, fudge shops lining a vibrant main street, as well as plenty of undisturbed nature. We think it's best if you reserved a few days for this one. And last but not least, we have number 15. Sea Cliff, New York. We are now on Long Island's Gold Coast. And if you watched our Gold Coast video, then you probably already know about the affluence in this part of New York. Formerly a summer resort off the Long Island Sound in Nassau County, this tiny little village welcomed numerous well-to-do families in the late 1800s. These summer cottages were mostly built in the wooden carpenter Gothic style, as they attempted to copy the same stone carvings but in wood, from the mansions of those who were richer than them. Upon arrival you will notice that Sea Cliff is teeny tiny and the streets are quite narrow. So it'll be best to just park the car, and simply tour the neighborhood by foot. And that's it for part 1, of the most Victorian neighborhoods in the US. So, which of these neighborhoods did you like the most? Which locations are you looking forward to visiting? If you think we missed a few locations, there's a good chance it'll be on part 2 to this video. So stay tuned, and be on the lookout for when it comes out. Anyway, if there's anything else you would like to mention about this topic, feel free to share it with us in the comments below. Furthermore, if you got any value out of this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and click on the bell icon so you can be notified when we release our next video. With that said, we'd like to thank you for watching. And we'll see each other next time.